Hey guys, JD here. Listen, I'm a little behind making this video, but I've been very busy at work and very busy doing some other things in my personal life. Some of it travel agent related. But I finally wanted to get around to making this video regarding my Regal Princess review from the cruise we went on just a couple of weeks ago. I have 3 pages of notes here. They're not very organized because, like I said, I've been busy. But I wanted to print these up just so I can keep myself on track and not just sound like I'm all over the place. But before I get into this, there are some negatives, a lot of positives, but I don't want it to sound like I'm being overly negative. I'm comparing the Regal Princess to my previous, I think, 6 cruises that were all on Carnival. So basically, I'm just going to compare. I'll be comparing Carnival to Princess at this point because, excuse me, I haven't done any other cruise lines. We do have MSC booked for next year, and I'm going to do Royal in 27 once the Icon of the Seas hits Galveston. So just keep in mind, this is going to be basically a direct comparison between Carnival and Princess. Even though they're both owned by the same corporation, there are a lot of differences when it comes to these 2 cruise lines. So just getting started, just looking at my notes, the embarkation process, I'm not a huge fan of the way that it was done on Princess. With Carnival and a lot of other lines, you do your online check-in, you either choose a check-in time, arrival time, or they assign you one. Princess, nope, it's just you show up and they give you a random piece of paper with a number on it as you go up to the waiting area, and that's your group number. You can get group number 7, you can get group number 50. It's completely random. However, there is a little trick that I learned. When we were approaching that spot, there was 2 places you could go into the security area, and that's where they gave you this group number. The line on the right, the group number said 40. I saw pieces of paper that said 42 on it. The one on the left, I saw where it said, I think it was 7. So I told my wife, I said, we're gonna go in that line because I got a feeling that's the group numbers, and it was. So we got in on the ship a little bit sooner than everybody else. But when you don't have assigned arrival times, you get big crowds. Like we got there around, I think it was about 9:45, and holy cow, there was a long line just to get into the building. Now we were in the green lane, which the green lane with Princess is you've already done all your online check-in, you have your medallion, you have all your paperwork done, your passport done. All you have to do is just they scan your medallion, look at your passport, and you're done. You don't have to do anything else. But even being in the green lane, there was a long line just to get to the person to talk to. So I prefer it where there's assigned arrival time, so the crowds are just a little bit less. But it really wasn't that big of a deal. It's just when I pulled up at 9:45, I was like, holy cow, this looks like all 3,500 passengers are here at the same time. But anyway, let's move on to the ship itself. The ship is gorgeous. I think the ship is about 10 years old at this point. It still looks brand new. There's shiny surfaces everywhere. There's marble finishes. It's all high-end finishes. You feel like you are on a elegant cruise ship. Not saying Carnival doesn't have that. The Carnival Jubilee is a gorgeous ship. Princess just felt more elegant, more refined, if I'm conveying that properly. There were 0 signs of wear and tear. I didn't see any carpet stains. I didn't see anything, paint missing, no chips, no scratches. It felt like a brand new ship, other than the new ship smell. Other than that, it was a fantastic, gorgeous ship. Now, a big part of cruising is the food. Let me talk about the food for a minute. Food on most cruise ships, from my experience in the main dining rooms, are usually on a scale of 1 to 10, 6 to 7, sometimes maybe higher. Especially on Carnival, it seems like the main dining room food isn't always very well seasoned. I usually have to add some salt to it. I will say this about the main dining room food on Princess. I didn't have to add salt to anything other than maybe one time, and that was on the short ribs. It was just a little lacking in seasoning. Other than that, all the food on the ship was very, very well seasoned. And when it comes to food choices, Carnival does breakfast and brunch way better than Princess. The main dining room on Carnival, especially on sea days, they have their sea day brunch. Well, you don't have that on Princess. Princess, if you're at a port, the main dining room is only open for breakfast from 7 to 9 a.m. Well, if you had a late night the night before and you sleep in a little bit, you're forced to go to the buffet, which we are not buffet fans, and I'll explain why here in a minute. Carnival, you can have breakfast in the main dining room on sea days, I think, till it's 11:30. I think it's 11. Port days, they have their quick port day breakfast. And Carnival also has a lot more options when it comes to breakfast. The breakfast menu on Princess was extremely limited, and to me, it was just maybe one step above the buffet. I was greatly disappointed in the breakfast on Princess. So Carnival, you have that one beat. Now, while we're talking about food, before I continue on to some other areas, when it comes to burgers, you can't beat Guy's Burgers, man. I'm telling you, Guy's Burgers on Carnival, probably the best burger at sea. We haven't had Royal yet, we haven't had MSC yet, but I don't think it's going to be very easy to top Guy's. The Trident Grill was good, but it was just like an average burger. They are cooked to order, so you have to wait a couple of minutes, but you do get it fresh. But they weren't very well seasoned, and Guy's is here, Trident Grill, about right here, okay? And their chili dogs, it was basically, the chili was basically just like bean water. I mean, it was okay, it was just all beans. There was like no meat in their chili. So, I don't want to be too negative, but let's move on. My favorite thing with Princess as opposed to Carnival, which is this is something I hope Carnival does in the future, is the medallions. I meant to grab one for me, but I'll show you on screen here what they look like. You get to wear this medallion either on your wrist with a watch or a clip, or if you so choose, you can use a lanyard. But the medallions are way better than these sail and sign cards that Carnival uses and other cruise lines uses. A lot of cruise lines are moving towards these medallions. They are optional on MSC, unless you get the Yacht Club. But these medallions, they do a couple of awesome things. Number one, you can track other parties that are with you on the ship. You can go to the app, you can say, my travel companions, where are they? It will show you on the ship where they're at. And if you don't know how to get there, you can click Route Me, and it will be like a GPS turn-by-turn navigation to show you how to get to that person. So parents that take kids on cruises, this is perfect for you. Like if you have teenagers that are running around the ship, you can track them and find out where they're at and what they're doing if you need to get a hold of them. Also, the medallions, no matter where you are on the ship, you can order food or drinks with the app, and Princess uses this to track your location to bring you your food and your drinks. This actually was good and bad. I don't want to go into too much detail with this. It was very consistent. There were times where I got our drinks within 10-15 minutes. There were times it took 30-40 minutes, even if they weren't too busy. There was one afternoon that I used the app to order a coffee to our room. It took an hour. And after an hour of waiting, I finally said, listen, babe, I'm going to go just get my coffee myself. 5 minutes after I left, she texted me, the coffee's here. Well, I was already close to the cafe, so I went ahead and just got my coffee, made it how I like it. Come back to the room, opened the coffee they brought me. It was only about half full, had no sugar and no cream in it, and it was half cold. It was cold. I don't know what happened. Well, that was the first sea day, I believe. Now, props to Princess. They do give comment cards on the first day for new cruisers, and this was our first Princess cruise. I commented on there, no problem so far, everything's been great, but I mentioned the coffee. That was on Monday. Thursday night, I believe it was Thursday night, the restaurant manager they'd used the medallion to track us, saw we were in the dining room. The restaurant manager come and spoke to us, he apologized for it. He said, it's usually sometimes better to use the phone to call room service than the app, because sometimes it can be kind of slow. And he apologized. He's very nice. I was like, cool, man. I know things happen. I'm not going to just be upset about this. I understand things happen. So a couple hours later, we were in the Vista Lounge waiting for a show to start. Or we were just hanging out. I don't remember. All of a sudden, this waiter shows up. Says, James? I was like, yes, sir. He handed me a little card and a plate with a cover on it. I was like, what's going on here? I didn't order anything. It was chocolate-covered strawberries, as you'll see here. I'll put it up on the camera for you. And a little thank you note. I'll also show that to you. They were just saying, I apologize for the inconvenience. Here's a little token of our gratification for you, blah, blah, blah. And that was extremely nice of them. Not every cruise line is going to do that. So props to Princess for that and for taking care of your customers. We're only on page 1. I don't want this video to be too long, so we're going to try to get through this a lot quicker. The next thing I want to talk about is the passengers on Princess, a much older demographic than Carnival, hardly any children. There was maybe 10 kids on this cruise ship. Princess does have kids clubs, but there's really not a lot of activities other than that for children to do, and that's probably why Princess is more of an older group. And on those lines, it was a very quiet ship. Nobody running around. There was no screaming, hollering. The music playing over the speakers in the public areas was kind of at a low volume. It wasn't like a party vibe like Carnival likes to give. But with that in mind too, it also appeared that a lot of the activities were geared towards the older group. We still had fun, and once we discovered Princess Live Theater, we started going there a lot because they had a lot of fun stuff going on in there. I want to talk about the shows real quick. They did have several different shows every night. One night they had a magician. He was really good, very entertaining. However, he just did like your typical illusions that you've seen in Vegas probably a million times. You know, we knew how all those tricks were done, so that kind of takes the fun out of it a little bit. But he was a very entertaining guy. There was one show called Fiera, which was okay. I mean, it was a lot of movement, a lot of singing. It seemed like there was some lip syncing going on too. I'm not sure about that one. But then we went and watched a show when we got back just to look at some stuff on the Princess that we had watched before on this show. And they were doing Fiera in 2017. So Princess, you need to update your shows and stop using the same one over and over and over and over again. Let's see, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to get through this real quick. I topped up, and you see I have a lot of stuff on here. Just real quick, the bath towels were... Carnival has very luxurious, soft, yet grippy, if you know what I mean, towels. They're very soft, they dry off very well. All the towels on Princess seem like they've been, I don't know if it's just this ship, but they seem very old. They seemed like they've been used quite a lot, like they've been worn down. They weren't as soft and luxurious as Carnival. The cabin, we got a balcony cabin, just a traditional balcony cabin. However, on Princess, traditional balcony cabins do not have a couch like they do on Carnival, MSC, and other cruise lines. It had, you'll see here on the screen, it just had the bed, and then it had a little desk, which was nice to have a desk area. Then it also had another cabinet with the refrigerator in it. It was kind of small. However, there was a walk-in closet when you first walk into the room, right next to the bathroom. That area is fantastic. Rather than have all these separate cabinets like Carnival does and some other cruise lines does, this was one long walk-in closet. We were able to put all of our clothes in there. We were able to put all of our shoes in the bottom, and we were even able to put our big suitcases in the closet as well, rather than have to put them under the bed. And also, to the left of that closet, there was a cabinet with your safe and all that stuff. So there's plenty of space in there. The only thing I say about the room is the bathroom was tiny. If you are a bigger person, you're going to want to get a mini suite, because I would say I'm average size. I'm 5'7", 190 pounds. The shower was tight for me, all right? And two people cannot be in this bathroom at the same time. So just keep that in mind if you're going to be booking with Princess. We're actually a lot farther than I thought. Dining reservations. Man, let me tell you what, I love Carnival's anytime dining. You go on the Carnival app, you say, party of 2, I want to eat, I'm ready to go. And before you even do that, even in the specialty restaurants, it will give you estimated time of how long it's going to take, like 10 to 15 minutes. It will give you estimated time of how long it's going to take. So you can look at the different restaurants, and if you want to eat now, you pick one with a shorter waiting time. But anyway, once you click your reservation, they will say, okay, we'll let you know when your table is ready. You can go to a bar, get a pre-dinner drink, just hang out in the lounge, whatever. And when your table is ready, they will send you notification on the app. You go to the dining room, bam, you get seated and you start eating. Princess, you have to book these things way in advance, because there is anytime dining, which I'll talk about that in a minute. If you want main dining room, you want private seating, you pick your dining time. You need to pick it way ahead of time, because if not, the days that you want to eat, all the popular times between say 6 and 7 are gone. They're taken. Luckily, I was able to I picked ours 2 or 3 months in advance. I was able to get all the times we wanted. A couple nights I did want to move it back. Nothing was available. So one night we wanted to eat a little later. We went to I think it was a concerto dining room, which is the anytime dining. There was a line of about 15, 18 people. I was like, all right, here we go. Had this been Carnival, I could have just checked in on the app, waited somewhere. I would have had an idea of how long the wait time was. I would have known. They didn't have any private tables available. Luckily, they did come and say, hey, we have a shared table available if y'all don't want to wait. So we went and did that. So it was kind of a classic cruise dining experience. We ate with a group of, I think, 6 or 7 other people. And it was kind of fun to meet new people and interact with them. But I do kind of prefer the private dining experience with just being the wife and the kid if he's with us as well. But I do prefer the way Carnival does that as opposed to the way Princess does it. You know, there's some things I wish Princess would put on Carnival, and there's some things I wish Carnival would put on Princess. They are owned by the same company. Maybe they're going to get more aligned one day. Who knows? I mean, overall, we did enjoy the cruise. Like I said, there are some things we like better on Princess. There's some things we like better on Carnival. Would I cruise Princess again? Yes, definitely. Now that I have a better idea of what to expect and the kind of clients that are on that cruise as opposed to, say, other cruise lines. If I'm taking Cooper, which there's Cooper right there, if he's going on the cruise with us, I'm not going to take him on Princess. We're going to stick with Carnival, MSC, Royal, because there's just not a lot for kids his age, which he's about to be 10. There's not a lot for kids his age to do. They have more activities on other ships as well. And, you know, Princess is pulling out of Galveston in March of next year, unfortunately, so it may be a while before we choose, are we able to cruise with Princess again, because we prefer going out of Galveston because that's the closest cruise port. One of these days we'll go to Miami or Port Canaveral in Florida to go out of there, but it's just so much easier for us to drive a few hours to Galveston and go out of there. So anyway, I believe I covered everything. I was trying not to make this too long. I hope it's not too long. But if you enjoyed it, please give me a like and follow me. Check me out if you need any assistance with your travel plans. I am free, and I specialize in cruising, but we can also do Disney, Universal, Sandals, and much, much more. So that's it, guys. Thank you, and have a good day.